If there's one thing that smartphone users like to complain about, it's battery life. Today's phones come with a whole bewildering range of features, including NFC and Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, GPS, 4G LTE, and of course those lovely big screens. But they all eat into the battery life. Combined with this push to make phones thinner and thinner, it seems that battery life is being sacrificed at every turn. Well, today we're going to be looking at a phone that has a 5,000 plus milliamp hour battery. Hello there, my name's Gary Sims from Android Authority, and if you need a phone with a big battery, then maybe the Elephone P5000 is the phone for you. Because of the large battery, the P5000 is larger than many of today's devices. However, it isn't overly thick. The specs say the phone is 9.3mm thick, but my measurement set it closer to around 10mm. Although 10mm may sound thick, it's still thinner than many of today's popular phones like the Moto G, and it's around the same thickness as the Nexus 6, but of course this one has a 5,000 plus milliamp hour battery. Like many of Elephone's recent devices, the P5000 uses lots of dark colours in combination with rounded edges and silver coloured trim. There is a silver coloured band around the edge of the phone, and silver can be seen on the home button and on the logo, as well as around the camera lens. On the front of the phone you'll find the 5-inch Full HD display, the front-facing camera, and a set of capacitive keys which flank the home button. The capacitive keys light up when pressed, and the home button houses the built-in fingerprint reader. Down the right-hand side are the volume rocker and the power button. Both are easily accessible when the phone is held in your left hand. On the top you'll find the 3.5mm headphone jack and the micro USB port, and on the bottom edge are the speaker grills. Flipping the phone over you will see the prominent Elephone logo, the flash and the camera lens. In terms of build quality, the phone feels solid and robust enough. However, the power button on my test unit is slightly inset, giving it a slightly spongy feel when pressed. At first I feared that the button was actually broken, however it does function as expected. Also, the home button seems to not always detect when it is pressed. I can't tell if this is an issue with the software or the hardware, but it does get a little bit annoying. The 5-inch display on the P5000 is really quite good. It's an IPS display with a resolution of 1920 by 1080. That works out at 440 dpi. The colour reproduction is faithful, however when placed next to a phone with a better screen, I noticed that the whites appeared a little off grey and lacking in punch. However, it isn't something that I noticed while using the phone normally, only when placed next to a different phone. It's likely just the colour temperature of the display. At the heart of the P5000 is the MediaTek MT6592. It's an octa-core Cortex-A7 based processor which is coupled with a Mali 450 MP GPU. The Mali 450 is getting quite old now and only provides open GLES 2.0 and not 3.0. However, it still performs reasonably well for 3D gaming. My experience with the P5000 was pleasant. The user interface responded well and I didn't notice any lags or stutters. Swiping and general navigation was always smooth and fast. For everyday usage like web browsing, reading emails, checking my calendar, I have no complaints at all. And while the Mali 450 MP is certainly an older GPU, it was also able to handle games like Riptide GP2 without any problems. As for the benchmarks, the P5000 managed to chalk up 54.3 frames per second on Epic Citadel in high quality mode and scored an unverified 31,749 on Antutu. One other thing worth mentioning about the CPU-GPU package is that when pushed hard the device becomes quite warm. I'm used to a little warmth from the back of a phone after playing a 3D game, however in this particular case the front of the phone around the earpiece also heats up. Someone called me while I was playing some games on the device, and when I placed it to my ear it was actually quite uncomfortable. Thankfully the heat dissipates quite quickly, but it's something to be aware of. The star attraction of the P5000 is of course its 5,350 mAh battery, which is double what you get in some other smartphones. I charged the phone overnight on Friday and started using it over the weekend. The battery lasted until Monday morning. That was a total of 2 days and 6 hours with an on-screen time of 5¼ hours. The whole time Wi-Fi and 3G were on, as was syncing so that I could receive my emails. Also, there was about 90 minutes of gaming thrown into that mix. The speakers on the P5000 are a bit strange. As you can see, here are the speaker grills. However, the sound really seems to come from this area here. And even if the speaker grills are covered with a finger or something, it doesn't change much of the sound. But anyway, here's a sample so you can judge for yourself. The The P5000 is a dual SIM phone which offers quad-band GSM, which means the 2G will work just about anywhere in the world, and tri-band 3G. The 3G will work in lots of countries around the world, especially in Europe and Asia, however it won't work in the USA. The GPS performance is excellent. The device was able to get a lock indoors and outdoors, and I tested it using Nokia Here Maps, and I was able to use the turn-by-turn navigation without any problem. The P5000 comes with 2GB of RAM, which would be expected for a device in this price range. In terms of internal storage, the device comes with 16GB of flash and has a microSD card slot. Thankfully, unlike other MediaTek-based devices, the internal storage isn't divided up and you get access to the whole lot, which is around 13GB of usable space. The phone has a 16MP rear-facing camera and an 8MP front-facing camera. The pictures are crisp and the colour reproduction is quite faithful. The sensor does struggle a bit in low-light situations, but for outdoor shots it's quite impressive. The inclusion of an 8MP front-facing camera is good news for those who like to take selfies. However, I did find that the front-facing camera tends to overexpose pictures. The included camera app is the standard AOSP app and offers a few interesting features like HDR and panorama. You can also install and use third-party apps, including Google's camera app. If you'd like to see some more sample shots, then please check out the written review. The P5000 runs stock Android 4.4.2. You also get access to Google Play and all of Google's services, including YouTube, Gmail and Maps. I think the device is rooted by default, as it comes with Chainfire's Super SU pre-installed. The reason why I say I think is that the phone received an over-the-air update within the first day of me getting it, and after the update, Super SU complains that the SU binaries are no longer installed. I guess that the OTA removed them, and I didn't check the phone's root status before the OTA arrived. The UI is basically what you'd expect from stock Android. The launcher has been lightly skinned by Elephone, and there are a few additional sections in the settings for gesture recognition and for the fingerprint scanner. But other than that, there are very little differences between the supplied version of Android and pure stock Android. The fingerprint scanner is incorporated into the home button, and the software allows you to set the screen to unlock only with your fingerprint. Overall, the scanner and the unlock mechanism work well. The number of misreads was relatively low, and I kept the feature activated for quite a while. I finally removed it not because the scanner wasn't up to the job, but because having to swipe my finger over the scanner to unlock the screen was becoming a bit tedious. And so there it is, the Elephone P5000. Got a full HD display, comes with an octa-core processor, and of course that lovely 5350 mAh battery. You can pick one up today for around $230. Well, my name's Gary Sims from Android Authority. I hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to Android Authority's YouTube channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to use the comments below to tell me what you think about the Elephone P5000 and what you think about battery life in general. And as for me, I'll see you in my next video.